So I'm here again in Pompeii with my friend and tour guide Gaetano Manfredi.
Hello.
We are doing a virtual tour of Pompeii for you today, so this is our next portion. And we are now in sort of the south.
This is the highest part of the hill of Pompeii.
The north.
The north, yes.
Yeah. So what we're going to look at up in this area is we're going to look at the water system, and there's new excavations, which is so exciting. I have not been here to see the new excavations, and they're pretty incredible. So Gaetano, take it away. Tell us what we're seeing.
Yes, first of all, we can see on the upper part over there, the main water tank. You know, there was an aqueduct. The water came 35 miles far away from here, from the top of the Apennines. There was an aqueduct, and the water flowed till up there. From that big water tank, through the pipes, water pipes, led the water pipes, the water flowed all over the town. And you can see all along this road, on the right side, they got some pillars. On the top of these pillars, you can see all along the road, they got additional water tanks. So in this way, they were able to provide water to all the houses around with a good pressure. And all around the Pompeii, they got several fountains like these. Look. The fountains, the public fountains, were built by 4 blocks of lava. We can still see the way they did the fountains. You see, they tied this block of lava with iron, soldered in stone by lead. People normally used to stop and drink with the end to the left or to the right, and so like you can see, they warmed the stone. And when the pool was full, also the animals like donkeys, horses, cows were able to drink water from the pool. But then you see, guys, the water flowed all along the road, slants the road, and the water used to wash and clean all the roads away, and the stepping stones for the people to cross the road avoiding wet feet. But what is interesting here on the other side are the new excavations. Most of the people ask me, Gaetano, but these paintings have been retouched, have been redone. No, guys, here we have the opportunity to see that these fantastic paintings, they come out from the ash the way we're able to see. Watch the group over here.
And this has been something that's new this year, yeah?
Yeah, just 6 months ago. Look, this wall needed to be excavated. You still see the ash. You still see the volcanic stones. They needed to digging out more till to the pavement, and other beautiful paintings intact come out. You see always the perspective on these walls, and always the faces of people you were able to meet around the Pompeii at the time. And fantastic is the entrance of this house. This is the entrance. And opposite, we can see this beautiful and very realistic painting. The stairs with some stuff on the floor, and a beautiful statue, which was a fountain from what the water was a kind of a cascade, and the blue color imitating the sky. So it really gives you the idea of a depth, like the house is much larger than it is. And on this wall to the left, we can see the painting of the god Priapus, showing always his big penis, and the basket with the fruits, which is the symbol of fertility, and the scale, basket of gold, and on the other side is a big penis, it's worth its weight in gold. But all this new house takes the name from these beautiful paintings.
But wait, yeah. Why is there a painting of a god with a giant penis?
Yes, because the penis was a symbol of good luck against any other form of bad luck. And so was at the very main entrance of the house to keep away from the house the bad luck. The way Americans are still using the horseshoe, you know, where you normally got the horseshoe, above the door. And why that? To keep away from the house the bad luck. That's the meaning of it. Was the good luck symbol to keep away all the bad luck from the house. And these new excavations, this new house takes the name from this beautiful painting you can see on the wall of Leda. She was a queen, and she is very close to a swan. Well, Jove or Zeus turns in a swan to have sex with the queen. And so Leda con il cigno, that's the Italian name of these new excavations. And that's really beautiful. It's fantastic the way of preservation and the blue color and all the other columns and the flowers around, which make of this house something exceptional.
Wow. This is brand new to me, for sure. I haven't seen any of this.
But behind you can still see the hill of ash, and so they still needed to continue the excavations in this section, and so other houses, other paintings, other walls, and other beautiful things, so will come out. But, you know, there's a part of the archaeologists, and I am with them, that love to have it for the next generation. Because the problem is how to preserve this painting. I mean, the acid raining water or the sun. So with the time, all these beautiful paintings, they will disappear. And so the next generation will not be able anymore to enjoy these beautiful things. So like all this has been so well preserved for 2,000 years, if we leave it for the next generation, it can be the same for the next 2,000 years. Instead, if we're digging out everything and we don't have a good technique of preservation, everything will be destroyed in the next few centuries. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's really, I think, we need to leave something for the next generation. That's a big treasure, and it's important to understand who we are today. Because looking at the past, we can better understand who we are nowadays. Right?
So Gaetano, I'm wondering, can you take me inside of this villa? Yeah, let's have a look at the interior of one of the villas here. We'll do a little walk.
Well, even if, you know, this is just the exit, I want to hope that they let us to go inside, otherwise we have to turn around again.
Yeah, let's try it. We'll try to try. You've got that Southern Italian magic. I'm sure you can get them to let us in. So all along here, as Gaetano was pointing out, these are all potential excavations that could happen in the future. Go ahead.
Oh, this is the main road from south to north. So it is 3/4 of a mile.
Wow.
You know, east-west is the longest side of Pompeii. Pompeii got the shape of an egg. East-west was just the longest side of it because of the sun, because of the sunlight. You know, from the sunrise till to the sunset, so they always had the sunlight along the east-west. But south and north was the shorter side of it, 3/4 of a mile. But, you know, all the travelers using horses or wagons for their travel and traveling from south to north or vice versa, they used to cross the town of Pompeii. They had the break, they were able to change horses, they were able to have a business, to relax themselves in a spa, to have a glass of wine, and then continuing the journey. Now we try to enter in this private house, and, you know, just from the very beginning, we soon find the decorations. We can see a chicken, we can see a bird, a basket with the fruits, we can see a duck. As well on the other side is a peacock with fruits. The atrium is the first part of every house with a square pool on the floor, which was called impluvium, and that's because on the upper part they got the opening in the roof, the compluvium for the skylight, because like you can see, they got no windows around. And the room opposite the entrance was always the master's office, the office of the owner, which was facing the main entrance. So in case there were merchants waiting for an audience with him, he was always able to see, because, you know, the retailers were able to buy something in the shops along the roads, but the wholesalers, in a way to get a better price, they needed to have an audience with the owner, the only one able to change the price of the goods. Year-round, they got some wooden benches where they were able to wait for the audience with the owner. You can see a beautiful...
By the way, I just got a comment you'll like, Gaetano. One of the viewers would like to let you know that they think you look like a Southern Italian George Clooney.
Look, the beautiful 3D mosaic It's a cubus in perspective, so beautiful, where you can see the three different sizes of the cubus. So they knew very well the perspective, they knew very well the 3D, and especially in these last years, the 3D is something really of a fashion, di moda. You know, we say di moda, avere queste decorazioni, to have this decoration of a 3D. This house takes the name from this room. You see, on the walls we miss some golden, round circle gold decoration showing the cupids. So this is La Casa degli Amorini Dorati, the house of the golden cupids. And so these decorations in gold are now in a museum, in Archaeological National Museum of Naples. Look at the crown molding around. Nothing was left undone. Also the ceiling was decorated, like we are going to show you. And the decorations on the wall, which looks so close to a nowadays wallpaper. It's so amazing.
It is, it's incredible.
You know, the temple for the gods and the ancestors. My mother, still today, in a corner of a modern house on a small table, she got the photos of the dead parents, with the photos of St. Anthony, St. Francisco, with the candles, with the flowers. Yeah, we are, guys. We are what they were. And in every home, in every house, they got drinkable water, and we can see the pipes running all around, you see? And on the upper part of every little column, they got a statue which was a fountain.
So that's original, the pipe coming out of there.
It is, look.
Look at that little pipe at the top. Can you guys
Yes,
see that?
yes.
Wow.
On the upper part of every little column, they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 statues, 8 fountains. You have to imagine something like a water feature with a central pool. Wow. And fish, so like an aquarium. We know because they found the fish bones on the bottom. And
look at this, the marble is interesting. It's fake marble, it's painted.
this is fake marble.
Yeah.
But the columns are real marble. How do we understand? How do we understand if it's a real marble or not? You have to touch. When you touch and it's cold, it's a real marble. When you touch and it's not cold, it's a fake marble. You know, this is some kind of a thing. When you go to visit a friend of yours and they do a new kitchen, say, oh, it's so beautiful. If you have to know how it's marble or not, you touch. If it's cold, it's a real marble. No, it's a fake marble. You know.
It's a trick.
They got kitchen and toilet together, as we're still doing. Here is the kitchen, you know, and close by the toilet. The toilet were just two sitting places with a wooden sitting with a hole in the middle, the terracotta pipe and the septic tank. You know, still today we used to build the toilet and kitchen together. But this is something we just have today. But 50 years ago, my grandparents and most of their generation, they got the toilet and the fountain outside the house. So many Italians living in the States, they still call the toilet the outhouse, the back house. And here 25 centuries ago, drinkable water, toilet and kitchen in every home. It's just fantastic. That's the peristelium. Peri, which means around, stilos, which means columns. It's a kind of nowadays courtyard. And I want to show you the dining room.
This is incredibly restored as well. I mean, of course we want to make sure people know the roof is new.
The roof has been redone.
Yeah.
On the plan of the original. Look, also the floor. So great decorated. This is one of the siesta room, close by the dining room. You know, Romans invented this lifestyle with the siesta room after lunch, and still today, most of the shops in Italy, they close at 1 and they open at 5. We're still continuing this lifestyle invented by the Romans. You see, all the rooms got no windows, but they all got these fake windows painted on the walls, and the perspective and the optical illusion of depth. And so, guys, the same room looks larger and bigger than the normal is. Here, I like to show you that the decorations were at 360 degrees. The mosaic on the floor, the paintings on the walls, and the showplace, the ceiling. So, nothing was left undone. all was so beautifully decorated. The ceiling, the walls, and the pavement. And that's just a siesta room where they used to spend the hottest moment of the day after lunch. And the biggest room in every home was the dining room, because the Romans never sat to eat, but they always lay down. Imagine, guys, over here, they got 3 sofas just shaped all around like a kind of a horseshoe. And in the middle, they got a table with the food and drinks. That's why the name of a dining room was triclinium. Triclinium, tris clinia, 3 sofas. So they used to lay down with the legs to the wall, the head to the center of the room where they got the table with the beautiful view of the garden, the fountains, the aquarium, the plants, the statues, something so beautiful.
It's incredibly beautiful. And would this be a typical garden that you would see in a villa here?
Yes, because the botanics here, with great patience, they did the plaster cast of the roots of the plants. They understood the qualities and the points where the plants were, and they planted the same qualities in the same points to show the people how they were decorated. The gardens were never used for vegetables, for fruits, at least not in a town. So they were all decorative gardens. In every house, they got decorative gardens and fountains.
That's incredible. They were able to replicate them with science. That's
Yes,
amazing.
Indeed. And look, this is the second siesta room, always nearby the dining room. That's beautiful, because if you point at the figure of the woman, you can see that the dress is blowing. So they give you the idea that the breeze passing through this room, so blow the dress of that woman. And it's always great for the decoration, the ceiling as well, the crown molding around. So most of these decorations we're still using today. And we can see they got doors here on the floor. They got the double doors. And at the time, it was not possible to see the wooden beams because they got a double ceiling, which was painted too.
Oh.
Okay, now we see the wooden beams. But at the time, they got a double ceiling, like we're still doing sometimes in our houses. Mm-hmm. Double ceiling, which was painted and decorated as well.
So this column...
These columns
fake.
are fake marble.
Fake, yeah.
Fake marble. You see, this is the plaster imitating the marble, the same we found in the public baths before. It's a marble dust mixed with the stucco, and so when it dried up, it got the same aspect, the same looking of the real marble, but it was much easier to work. And you know, alpha columns were sometimes painted with a color, the rest of the other columns in another color, always full of colors.
But also, that's a budget-saving thing, too, because you notice the elegant ones are here.
Yeah, yes.
And then these ones are cheaper.
You know, they use, come along, because they use, have a look up there.
Yeah.
Since the Romans knew the 3 different capitals, the Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian, yeah. So they used to decorate it the way they like. According to their taste, they used the Doric, the Ionic, and the Corinthian. And sometimes they go together.
Yep.
And here, if you look inside over here, there are always a beautiful combination of colors with, you know, some faces around, some sphinx, the gold yellow with the dark red. If you think that here the people used to live, used to step, we are in the same rooms, we are in the same area where people used to live 25 centuries, it's something amazing. Mi viene la pelle d'oca, come si dice in inglese? La pelle d'oca.
The skin of the goose?
Because of the emotion, you know?
Yeah. Goose, oh yeah, goosebumps.
Especially
Goosebumps.
when there is no one around. And so you are in these places. You can probably smell the same perfume, the same thing. That's another corner of the house dedicated to the gods and the ancestors. I want to tell you something about the snakes, because we find the decoration of snakes almost all over. The snake was the symbol of a continuity of life, because every year the snake changed the skin. And it was the symbol of eternity of life, because if the snake with the mouth touches the tails, forms a circle which has no beginning, not ending, so the eternity of life. And if you kind of come closer and you zoom on the mouth of this right snake, you can see there is an egg, you know? That wanna mean that everybody born by an egg. So we born, but we never finish to exist. We just pass from this life to another one, but we still continuing to exist. And that's why we have to venerate the ancestors, because they are still living by in another dimension, right? It's full of meanings also, these paintings around. Look, this is another, always the same garden, but from another perspective. The dining room is up there, with the two siesta rooms left and right.
Fantastic. And as always with these are like sanctuaries because they have this solid wall all around. So if you lived here, you wouldn't have heard anything on the street.
Allora, we mentioned at the very beginning, mens sana in corpore sano.
Yeah.
When outside was raining or when outside was very hot, they were always able to walk around with the friends, with the family, thinking, because when you walk, you have a clean mind, you can think, you can resolve the problem, you can enjoy the atmosphere, and you can walk all around the house, also with the friends coming to visit you. Oh, this is a sitting room. Look how beautiful this sitting room, with the so beautiful paintings on the walls. You know, there's a scene of a sacrifice opposite over there. Everything they needed to start, they tried to ask the favor of the gods. So how to know if the gods were willing or not? With a sacrifice. They used to sacrifice a bull or a pig or a rabbit. I mean, they used to never did human sacrifices, but just animals. There was a strong tradition that everything to be started must have the approval of gods. And so during a sacrifice, the priest could forecast if gods were willing or not. And of course, they said yes or not according the money they had.
Obviously, yeah.
But you know, still today is the same because the people never change. We have the fortune tellers today, or the palm tellers, and we still have people believing in them. We feel so clever. We travel on internet. We have been up to the moon, but we still have people doing it or believing in it. So people really never change, guys.
No, they don't.
All right. Va bene.
Va bene, Gaetano.
We want to go out to the way back so we can go.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go this way. Yeah, that sounds good. I hope you guys are enjoying our virtual live tour of Pompeii. And again, my guide's name is Gaetano Manfredi.
Yes. And don't forget, my website is pompeitourguide.com, and I'm waiting for you, all of you here in Pompeii, for a real tour, real personal private tour. All right, we go out through the back door, guys. Sto lavorando, lo vedi, andiamo dopo. So, here is close this house. It's very famous, but it's close. It's the house of Betty. And once again, here we can see at the very main entrance the god Priapus, but most of all we can see how the atrium was done, with the opening in the middle and the square below. Oh, something interesting. I forgot to tell you in a spot. You know, this wall is a waterproof plaster. In a spa, with the steam, as well outside of the houses, how to make waterproof. Always with the idea of recycling. When those stones of broken jars were done so small like dust, mixed with the plaster, they used to cover the houses. And this was a waterproof plaster. The same they did in all the public baths. And the same they did in all the water tank. How to keep clean the water in a water tank. So with this plaster over here. Waterproof plaster. So the water in every tank was able to stay for a longer time and always very clean. That's another important job made by the Romans for keeping clean the water and keeping away the raining water from the houses and the walls. Wine bars everywhere. So Pompeii has always been a very touristic town. Look.
Even in the ancient past.
Yeah, even an ancient town, because we find a large number of wine bars. So now, either they were alcoholists, those living over here, and I don't think so, Oh, this has always been a very touristic town. You see, still the jars close in the wall, still the space where they got the cups, and the space behind for games, dice or cards or whatever. And you see, just crossing the road, there's another one. Look. So, it's a very, very large mountain. See? And this is not the main road. This is just a lane. And so we have two large wine bars, one close to another, all along this lane. It's not the main road. It really means that the number of tourists coming every day was very high. And we can see the lead water pipes, guys. Lead water pipes, just like today, running left and right all along the sidewalk.
Wow.
If you can come to the right, we can see better.
So you would probably say then that Pompeii was like an entertainment center, really, wasn't it?
We can say like nowadays Las Vegas.
Okay.
I know the comparison looks quite a bit funny, but lots of colors everywhere, lots of wine bars,
yeah,
lots of business, lots of games, lots of prostitutes. You know, all these makes this town very close to a modern Las Vegas.
So what happens in Pompeii stays in Pompeii. Yeah.
Look, the pipes were always three, because they used to provide one line, the private houses, second line, the public baths, and the third line to the water fountains. Why that? Because when they were short of water, they first closed the water into the houses, then the water into the spa. The last was the water in the fountains, because the fountains were used to provide the water to the passengers, to the travelers, to the animals, to wash the roads, and then because the wealthy people were able to send the slaves to the fountain to pick up water. All right, so three different lines to provide the water all over.
Now, Gaetano, when is the best time to come and visit Pompeii? Normally.
The beginning of April. In April, the end of September, October. October is fantastic. Or the beginning of November, because usually, even if it is hot, there is always breeze from the ocean. But the number of people of the cruisers, lots of cruisers here every day. And so I would suggest April, October, these are two good months.
Well, and let's hope that April of next year we'll have travelers out again. That's our hope.
April and October, April, May, September, October, but not really June, July, or August. So because also, especially August is very negative August, because it's the most expensive part of the year, and also because lots of Italians around. You know, all the fabric, all the Italians are all in holiday on August time. So really no good. So just skip August if you can. This is another beautiful house.
Oh, wow, look at that fountain.
Yes, bravo, you understand it's a fountain now. Fantastic.
Beautiful.
And then always the same layout. The first part of the house is the atrium with the compluvium, the opening in the roof, impluvium, the square pool on the floor. Then they got bedrooms on the left and cabinets for shoes and clothes on the right. You know, they got not much furniture. They just got beds or tables and chairs, but not wardrobes. So they got the cabins, like we still have today. And the table in front of us was a display table. All right, and behind they got the peristelium, the garden surrounded by columns. We never find a front garden. All the houses got a back garden with a beautiful mosaic, and all the houses were built on the same axe. Americans used to say a shotgun sign, because from the main entrance you were able to see all house long. Well, guys, honestly, I have to tell you something. Not all the guys used to say, but this is the truth. In Pompeii, mostly used to live the new rich of the empire. Very normal people like soldiers, like farmers, like fishers, who became rich in very short time with the business. They were trying to imitating the noble residents in Rome, but most of the time they exaggerated the nouveau rich. So that's why also the houses sometimes were overdone of decoration. Overdone of decoration is not elegant. The elegance is the simplicity. So overdone of decoration is, Baroque.
Tacky.
Tacky. That's it. That's the truth, and you do not find many guys telling you that, because everybody will exaltate this, oh, beautiful, yes, all right, but think it over. That's something exaggerated. You see, normally they put the fountains at the very main entrance, but since here they got a display table with some stuff on the top like golden cups or statue, so this stuff could cover the view of the fountain. And that's why they did the fountain a bit to the right, because in this way from the main entrance all the people were able to see both in a good way, the fountain and the stuff on the display table.
That's clever.
Because they really want to show how rich they were.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It's not really very elegant, but that's the truth. The elegant people normally used to live in Herculaneum, that we are going to see next time, or maybe I don't know, but you know, when you come in this area, you can have a week of a time full of intensive things to do. We can go to Paestum, we can go to Herculaneum, to Oplontis, to Stabia, to Vesuvius, to archaeological. Don't worry, guys. Just call at Sarah. She knows everything, and everything you like to do, she will organize for you in the best way that you could never do on your own. Right?
I didn't pay him to say that, by the way.
No. I know
Gaetano.
the way she works. We know each other since a long time. She's a very punctual, very professional, and so I believe in her 1,000 per 1,000.
Oh, thank you.
I know you. I know all the passion you put in your job, the same I do with mine, and you work always with very professional figures, very professional guides, very professional tour operators. So this is something which is really priceless. You know, when you find the punctuality and the professionality is a priceless, something that you can be sure that you have just to relax, and you know that everything has been ready for you, because behind you have a great company organizing everything for you. That's really fantastic. If you still love to stay a bit with us, I want to show you a proper wealthy house.
Okay.
We are going to visit the house of the Faun, which is completely different by all the others we have seen until now. And I tell you why. Because here we find the elegance, really the elegance, starting from the very beginning, you know? I want to tell you something. Whenever you find the 3 or 4 central stepping stones, they are two-way through. But whenever you find the 2 or 1, like here, means one-way on, one-way street.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
And then we're almost at the end of the town. They got 3 miles of city walls all around, with the 14 watchtowers like the one over there. From the very top of those towers, the soldiers were able to check, not outside, because the Romans were all over, but most of all, they used to check inside the town, because the troubles came from the town. You know, slaves revolt, or fire, or troubles with the citizens. You know, the soldiers in every Roman city or town just did the job of the local police. All right? Look how beautiful is the eagle up here. Come on. It's a beautiful in terracotta, the eagle. Probably is the sign of this family. And come up here because you can look inside. It's a small house, pretty house, always the same layout, the same beautiful mosaic fountain at the very end. And so in every corner you can find something beautiful, even if the style is the same, but there are always different decoration. That's why, is my personal opinion, that the interior designer at the time got a good job. Because since the layout was the same, the only chance the people got to have a different house, different home, was in the decoration. And so they were not able, for example, the house we have seen before, I don't think that was the owner to say, I want to have this painting or I want to have that painting. For sure there was someone who saw the house and said, okay, in this room we have to paint this, in the other room we have to paint that. There must be interior design at the time, right?
Yeah.
And over here, we are quite close to the house of the Faun. Look, just from the very beginning, we understand this was a very wealthy house. Because look, from here, you see, very big is the main entrance, with the 2 fake columns, with the capitals, the 2 shops left and right. And most of all, on the floor, we have description, Ave, which means hail. You know, Ave Cesare, Ave Maria. Ave was the Roman typical welcome. Just from the beginning we understand, because the other house got the mosaic of beware of the dog, in a way to say, go away, we have a wild dog. Here, welcome. Welcome everybody. A kind of nowadays welcome man. That's this look. That's the shop. Sliding door. See guys, the sliding door. They all got the second stories. You see the holes for the wooden beams, second stories.
Sorry guys, a little technical.
And look guys, at the very beginning of this house, we don't have the priapus with the big penis, but we have soon the two shrines for the gods and the ancestors. So in a way to show that the gentleman over here, the owner, was proud of his origin and he got a great respect for the gods. So at the very main entrance, the two shrines. All this house was decorated with 5 colors: red, white, green, yellow, and black. The same 5 colors they got on the floor and on the walls. And all the walls, all the colors on the walls used to be mixed with the marble dust.
Oh, look,
you
you
see
can
how
really
it's
see
shining
it.
the marble dust under the sun.
Wow, yeah.
And so it means that all this house, which was decorated with one single style fake marble, so look like a real marble house. The house of the faun, look, the same 5 colors we find on the floor. The faun was the god of the forest, from whom the nowadays name of fauna, you know, flora and fauna. Fauna takes the name by this god. Very famous, this statuette.
Is this the original?
It is the copy. The original is in the Museum of Naples. But since I love the American movie, many times in a big studio of lawyers in America, I have seen in a movie this statuette, especially in New York, the big studio of lawyers in New York. They got this statuette. Why is it so important? Because we understand that they knew the anatomy of a body. Because you can see that every single muscle was represented in its typical movement. And then another difficulty was to make all those sizes smaller, remaining with the same proportion. That's why it's a masterpiece. If you look around this statue, you can see that all the legs and all the body and all the arms are all moving in a dance. And then also the torsion of the body. So it is like a dancing. We said the dancing form. You can see all the muscles and the torsion of the body. It's great. So they knew the anatomy of a body very well. This house got not just one atrium, but they got a second atrium. Probably a daughter or a son were married and used to live with them. Or probably this second atrium was the guest house for the people arriving. Look in the corner over there, zoom in the corner over there. There are the rest of a bomb which exploded right over here during the Second World War.
Oh, wow.
The archaeology, we remember that is 147 bombs that exploded here. That's just one left by the archaeologists in a way to remember what happens and what do not need to be repeated again. Just avoid it. And here on the floor there is a wonderful 3D mosaic that we usually find in Florence during the Renaissance. Look how beautiful. And it's still modern. You can move around and you can show that from every place you see, you find a different cubus. Come in the corner of here, look. It's something so modern, so beautiful, so amazing.
Beautiful colors. Yep.
Yeah, but modern, because, you know, also we do the tattoo, we do the decoration, we do also the photo in 3D.
Yeah.
It's so modern. And that's always the office of the owner. Come over here and face this side. From this office, the owner was able to see the main entrance, but he was also able to check the slaves left and right working in shops. That's the main dining room with the children's room. Look, the main dining room with the same colors, red, yellow, green, white, and black. The dental crown molding.
Oh, look at that. That is remarkably well preserved. Yeah,
yes.
beautiful.
Because we still use in our houses the dental crown molding.
Yeah.
The geometrical mosaic on the floor. That's a wealthy house. Someone who was born rich because he knew about the gods. He knew about he got respect for the ancestors and the gods. And there's one single style all around. That's the elegance. That's the beauty. Okay. The very last thing. All the walls of this house were covered by a thin layer of lead.
Lead?
Yes. The lead was twice good. So the lead, that's for the dampness. In England, we still use it. They used to call a damp course against the dampness. Under the walls is the cheapest and the best thing for the dampness from the ground. And on the walls too, with many nails. The nails were used for two good reasons. First, to fix the lead on the walls, and then, because over the heads of the nails, they fix the plaster. Otherwise, the plaster fall down. Okay. In some occasion, we just find the many nails, but we miss the lead. That's because during the Second World War in south of Italy, it was not possible to find the lead. And people living in the area, they all came to Pompeii to steal the lead pipes or the lead from the walls. But here, when the stock is still the original one, you still find the part of lead underneath the original stock.
Oh, yeah, look at that. So the walls used to be then the stucco that's very thick with the fresco, and then we have the lead behind. Yeah. Wow, that's fascinating.
Okay, or here, down here, you can still find the lead and the nails, you see?
Yep.
And that's a system of construction that in England they're still using.
Ancient waterproofing. It's like modern Tyvek. Va bene, Gaetano, this has been an incredible tour.
My pleasure, guys. I really had a beautiful time with you, even if through the streaming. But it's great to stay with you and to wait for you here in Pompeii, but all over the region Campania, all over Italy. Italy loves you, so please back again to Italy. All right? Kisses, everybody. Ciao, guys. See you.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us today for this magical walk through Pompeii, a virtual tour from your own living room. You get to be like you're here. It's warm, you can see the breeze, it's beautiful, and I hope that this transported you just for a couple of hours to feel like you've joined us here in this beautiful city. Buried city, ancient city. And hopefully maybe one day you'll be able to join Gaetano or myself here. There's so much more to see here, as he mentioned, Herculaneum, Villa Oplantis, Mount Vesuvius. So if this hasn't been on your list, of course, it definitely needs to be. We've shot a bunch of other footage too, so we're going to put that together and it'll be a little more polished, and we'll have that up on my YouTube channel coming in the fall once I get home. But I hope that this has been great. So coming up tomorrow, we're going to have a trip out to the Castelli. And just wanted to also mention, my dad called again. And my dad says I shouldn't come home because the air is unhealthy in Seattle. So I may stay longer. And I just wanted to tell you that your support of all of my tours has encouraged me to stay. So I may be staying a few days longer, and maybe I'll hit Florence or Venice and report back to you on, and keep the virtual tours rolling. I hear it brings some brightness to your day. So thank you for all the kind messages encouraging me to continue on my mission to figure out how to take you even if you can't leave. So thanks again for joining us. Yeah, maybe a week. I'm looking at maybe adding a week. So let me know if you think I should stay longer. And again, thank you so much for all of your support. Last view of beautiful Pompeii as the sun is setting. All right. Ciao, everybody. Thanks again for joining me. Oh, share this and get more people to follow Adventures with Sarah. That's the best thing you can do to help me. Thanks a lot, everybody. Ciao.